are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tom.
And we're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 101. Whoop, whoop, of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your two hosts, Bruce, and over there, as always, everyone's brother from another mother, the Tone Capone. And this week, compliments of last week's guest, Tom Gigliotti from the Shout Out Loudcast. He gave us Jerry Cantrell's latest album, I Want Blood. Gonna have a lot of fun discussing this album. Just some little music news that come up over the last few days, and yeah, let's figure out what we're going to be drinking and everything else. So, before we can get into the whole meat and potatoes of this rigmarole, people, people want to know because I've gotten tons of emails specifically asking Tone, how are you?
Good evening. I am
What?
well. I am looking forward to Sonic Temple this weekend. Going to see a lot of bands. If you guys see me out there, please stop and say hello. I will be VIP stadium seating, I think it is. I'm not going to get down there in the mess of the crowd and everything. My buddy who's going with me is going to be able to go down there and do that. I'll be fine. Other than that, man, just looking really forward to seeing Acid Bath. That's a big one for me. I think there's a day that we're going to see a lot of thrash at Overkill, Exodus, Testament, Metallica, maybe. I think it's going to be a big day for thrash for me. So, getting to see all those guys all finally and kind of all together is going to be great. It's unfortunate that Slayer's not on the bill because I would love to see Slayer one more fucking time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sonic Temple does appear to be one of the best lineups they've had in a while, so I'm
Last year's
excited for you.
last year's lineup was pretty fucking good too. I think the Misfits headlined that one of those nights.
Okay,
Yep.
man. So, what have you been listening to as you're preparing yourself for the Sonic Temple?
None of the bands from Sonic Temple. No, honestly, I'm going to see some new bands that I'm not familiar with, or
Hmm.
bands that I'm aware of but not really familiar with. That's going to be mainly on Saturday.
Hmm.
Thursday is going to be a pretty good day. Friday is going to be a great day. Saturday is going to be an all right day, just kind of checking a few bands out. Sunday is going to be a great day because the day is going to start off with Corrosion of Conformity. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Um, looking forward to seeing Alice in Chains. Speaking of which, we'll be reviewing Jerry Cantrell's I Want Blood from last year.
Hmm.
I should have been aware that this album dropped. A little unfortunate that I was not, but I'm also not a close follower of Alice in Chains and stuff as of these days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, other than that, man, I was checking out that album. I've been listening to some Boring, listening to some Kilimanjaro Dark Jazz Ensemble. Definitely checking out some Conan as of lately. Definitely the new album, loving on that. You still
Hmm.
listen to that thing?
Yes, I listened to it late last week.
I'll tell you something funny, man.
Hmm.
You may find this funny. I've actually gone back and listened to that Central C album.
Okay.
Dude, I tell you, man, the kid's got a message, and I kind of dig it, man. So
Okay.
thanks, thanks, John, for that album, man. I, hey, look,
Okay.
dude, I had Omar on in fucking Discord or in something the other night, one of our chat groups the other night, and I said, "Here, man, you got to check this album out." Pulled it up on YouTube, and he was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good, man." It was like, "Yeah, if it wasn't trap music and it wasn't kind of repetitive, I'd be a lot more into it." But there was some pretty good stuff there, man. I went back and listened to that track with him and his brother.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was a good track.
yeah.
That was a
So
good track.
yeah,
Oh man. Well, good for you. Guess what I picked up the other day?
I don't. Oh, you know what?
Hmm.
I forgot to say something.
Oh,
Give me
what's
a
that?
second. And I
Oh,
hate standing up on camera, dude. I do have to say one more thing. I have
what's
not
that?
gotten to listen to it yet because I've been waiting for a prime time to do so, and I think I'm going to do so tomorrow.
Hmm.
My buddy over there on the other side of the cameras there,
Uh-huh.
managed to grab me record store day release Dictators DFFD. I am
Nice.
very, very happy by this. Thank you very much, Bruce. Uh,
My pleasure.
this absolutely has one of my favorite tunes on here, if not my favorite tune, Pussy and Money. Um, I love the opening track, Who Will Save Rock and Roll. Uh, God, this thing's a loaded banger, man.
Oh yeah.
Like most Dictator albums, very fun, very great stuff going on there. And thanks,
Awesome.
hello and thanks again to our guys out at the Dictators, Keith Roth and uh,
Andy and
Andy Sherman,
Ross.
Ross, and fuck, man, Albert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and Dick Manitoba, we got to see him, man. He put on a hell
Yep.
of a show. So
Yep. And that's Andy Sheernoff.
Andy Shernoff, yep.
That's right. And then speaking of old handsome Dick, I picked up
Eh,
the unofficial Dictators album,
Wild
Manitoba's
Kingdom,
Wild Kingdom,
yep.
and You. This was a um, this was the re-release that they did in like 2015. It's limited to 500 copies.
How'd you score
This
that?
our friends at Basement Records, go say hi to Matt on Chapman Highway in Knoxville, Tennessee. He's a big Dictators fan too. Um, but this has got I Want You Tonight,
Now,
Haircut and an Attitude,
now, if he was a Dictators fan, why didn't he keep the album?
because he already had it.
Oh, and it just happened to come into the store and he let you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He called you up like, "Hey, man, I got
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
Mind if I ask what you paid for it?"
15.
That's not bad, dude.
That's a good
Dude,
price.
I love getting an album under 20 bucks, dude.
Yep.
I love getting an album under 20 bucks because 20 bucks is that threshold for fucking vinyl for me that,
Mhm.
okay, if it's a little over 20, maybe I'll get it. If it's at 20, I'll most likely get it. I can pull a 20 out of my pocket. I hate pulling 40, 50, 60 fucking bucks out of my pocket because at the end of the day, dude, I don't care what you say. Records are very fragile. They take up space and eventually they wear down, don't they?
Eventually,
That needle beats up that groove
you
eventually.
absolutely. So, listen sparingly
Yeah.
or get you two copies.
Yeah. Fuck all that. Just
Oh,
buy it
shoot.
digitally and never have to fucking look at it sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, that's right. Also, other things I've been listening to, um, I guess I can just go ahead and confirm it now. I've been listening to a lot of India Ramey. They
Who's that?
they India Ramey. She is a very cool up and coming country and western troubadour singer, and she is going to be our special guest later this month.
Now,
Stay
this
tuned,
wouldn't happen to
kids.
be that awesome little lady that we seen out at the Dick Manitoba show on the other side of the venue, and she was playing to a nice little crowd there, and I believe she was having an album release show that night, maybe
It wasn't a release show, but she was touring in support of that
in
album.
support of that album. Okay,
Hmm.
and if I remember correctly, you and I went over because with the bathroom was in that area on that side. You and I both went over partway through some set and caught a piece of her gig.
Yeah, a
And
few pieces.
I remember I was really impressed by it. And I said, you know what? I kind of want to check out that album. So I grabbed one of the posters off the wall so we would remember who that was. And then I think you were the guy that decided you were going to listen to the album first and then
Yep,
shot it over to me to review, which I think it scored pretty high if I remember correctly.
it did. It did. So, yeah. So she's coming on later this month. Stay tuned for that. And she just released some of her older stuff on Spotify. So, I believe her debut album that came out in like 2009, things like that. So,
Definitely going to have to check out a little bit more before she gets on the air. I like to vet. I
mhm.
like to vet as much of that information as I can and kind of talk about some of the songs and some of the things, ideas that they
No,
come up with.
absolutely.
But yeah, that last album, pretty solid, man. If
Yeah,
I
man.
remember correctly.
Absolutely. Let's see. What are you drinking, my friend?
I have a Mountain Dew,
Oh, that's
Diet
nice.
Mountain Dew Zero.
Nice. Does it
Katie,
taste
are you
like
home?
fall?
All right, I love you, baby. You all right? All right. Sorry, wife's home. Figure to check on her. I am.
Okay.
Exactly. All right. What are we drinking this evening? Let's see. I actually had stopped by the Kroger and with the intention of actually picking something up to drink on the show. So
Mm-hmm.
I happen to notice this thing right here. You've heard me speak of several different variations of Rheingeist Truth made out of Cincinnati. This is
Mm-hmm.
the Rheingeist Truth Bomb, and it is 9.5% alcohol by volume. It is an Imperial India Pale Ale, which at 9.5, that makes sense. So let's take a look at that beautiful can there. There you go. Yeah, look,
Ooh.
Truth Bomb. See the 9.5 there at the top?
Uh-huh. I see that.
9.5.
Very
So we're
nice.
going to go ahead and give her a nice crack. Let's see if we can hear this. Did we hear that? Did we hear
I
that
heard
on the end?
it.
All right. Nice little sniff. Mm. Now, this is the type of beer that won't let me get the editing done tonight. Let's find out. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to give this thing solid 4.75. Not my favorite variation of this, but it is very solidly good. I couldn't drink a ton of these, to be honest with you. It is
Mm-hmm.
super hopped up, which I'm actually happy about. It doesn't taste bad at all, but I'm not going to give it a 5 because it's not my favorite variation of the truth. So it's
Nothing
all,
but the truth.
nothing but the truth. So help the truth. What are you drinking tonight?
All right, my friend. Well, I'm going to have two because I'm almost about halfway to the first one. Uh, Here's an oldie from our friends at Margaritaville Brewing, Landshark. Nice island lager.
Do you
This
remember?
is one of my staples.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's funny that you're drinking that. Do you remember this? Me and Kate laughed our asses off for practically an hour watching these skits from Saturday Night Live of the land shark. Do you remember those episodes? Don't open the door. It could be the land. Do you remember those episodes, dude? Me and
Telegram,
Kate. Yeah.
Candygram.
Yeah. Are you that you could be that shark?
No, no. And then they're so
Yeah,
stupid.
dude, it was so
So good.
stupid, but so good.
So,
Uh,
I'll show you. I am a big land shark fan. Look at that.
oh, that's dope.
Land shark right there. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Nice little surfboard. Anyway, land shark's one of my favorites. Always has been ever since I've started drinking it. Um, it's solid. It's light, refreshing. It's delicious, and it's a 5 for me. And coming up soon, Red Stripe, because I'm in that island beat.
I think I reviewed Red Stripe on the show.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's a solid beer.
That's great beer.
Mm. Gimmick aside, being Jamaican and whatnot, it was a solid beer.
That's right.
All right. All right. What's going on here?
Well, what kind of music news you got, my friend?
I have none, to be honest with you. I didn't get a chance to vet any.
Okay.
Um, I'm sure there's something I could speak on, or think of, but I can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple things that
Shoot them out there.
let's see. Peter Criss last week announced that he was doing a new rock album featuring a lot of really cool guests, including John Five is playing on this thing. Um, oh shit! Now I'm just drawing a blank. Couple other big names. Paul Schaefer from David Letterman's band's also on that as well.
He looks like
Supposed,
Paul Schaefer if Paul Schaefer had hair.
yeah, I agree. So who knows? You know, I'm hopeful. This is going to be Peter's probably last hurrah. Doubt if he's going to do any touring on this or anything like that. But it's good to see, he's doing something, and he's got a lot of cool guests on his album that help him make it happen. So I'm happy. I'm excited for him coming out in the fall at some point. Also seeing that David Lee Roth is back on the road after 5 years.
Is that why I'm
And
seeing some of that live footage in my
yep,
feed? And it's absolutely horrible.
no, it is not
Yes, it
horrible.
is,
No,
dude.
it's not.
He's still doing the lounge thing, man. The lounge
Dude,
act thing.
nah, you didn't listen to it then. You didn't listen to it.
I don't know, dude. Because you want to know the truth? It
Mhm.
sounds like the rest of the band is carrying him completely, and he sounds like he's still doing the lounge act thing.
He's not.
Yeah,
He
don't.
sound he sounds he sounds good.
I don't want
He's
him on the
not
show.
great.
I don't want him on the show.
Well, too bad. Coming up next week, David Lee
No,
Roth.
I don't want him on the
Anyway,
show, dude.
he's come.
There are very few people in the music industry that
Mhm.
scare the living fucking hell out of me. David Lee Roth is one of them.
Why does Dave scare you?
Because, man, that dude just kind of reminds you of somebody that's just so fucking unpredictable. Like, dude, I feel like I'll tell you like this. Dave is the type of person that would be like, I'd get caught up in the fucking enamored fucking world. I'm like, hey man, we're gonna go off and go do some coke, man. You ready to go do some coke? Like, yeah, I'm going to go do fucking coke with David Lee Roth. Fuck yeah. Like, dude, like just the situation could change on a fucking dime. You know what I mean?
I can't imagine how exhausting it would be to live in Dave's world for 24 hours.
Dude, that
I
dude,
couldn't do it.
that dude is always on 11.
Yeah. 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 I love him. He's one of my favorite frontmen.
No, listen, don't get me wrong. He is still one of my favorite frontmen, but he is one of the very few people in this industry that scare the living fucking daylights out of me, dude.
He's coming to Cincy. He's playing the Hard Rock. I think I just might go.
I don't want to see him if he is doing Van Halen stuff. Does that make sense?
No, he's doing Van Halen. At least this last set list, it was all Van Halen. Um,
No, I'll
so
pass on that.
and the band did a great job.
If Michael Anthony was part of it, I would possibly consider it, but
Nah, he's him and Sammy are like this doing Van Halen stuff right now too. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's a travesty.
yep, yep.
Another band that because of the infighting that is somewhat shit on their fucking legacy, man.
Absolutely,
Dude,
absolutely.
dude, and that's the thing that because like we grew up loving these guys, like before we would ever discover, say, Randy Rhoads, right? Fucking Eddie Van Halen was our guy. That was the guitar fucking, that was that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Until
Mhm.
obviously Randy would come along about 82. Someone would say 82, 81, 82.
Yeah.
And, then everybody would cite Randy Rhoads as being one of the great, the next great big
Hmm.
thing in guitar world and stuff and whatnot. And God bless Randy's soul.
Yep.
I still wonder where we would be with if Randy was alive today and still writing music or doing where would he have gone? Because rumor has it he was leaving Ozzy.
Yeah, there's a lot of drama with him and Sharon and Ozzy, and he could have went back to Quiet Riot. And then if that was the case, how long, what kind of career would a Quiet Riot had after,
Rhodes come back in and elevated them again because the funny thing is he was out before the big hit.
yep,
You know what I mean? Because
yep.
what's his name? Something Cavazzo. I want to say Cavazzo, something Cavazzo. It was Carlos Cavazzo, maybe. Was the guy that came in and did the guitar riffs, or it was their riff master.
Okay,
Well, I believe so. Um,
gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty interesting. That's all I can think of at the moment.
okay, well,
Yeah.
oh, oh,
Oh, almost
hold
did it.
on. You know what? I knew there was something that come out. I don't want to go into a long song and dance about this, but rumor has it, and I can't confirm or deny as of yet, the Diddy list dropped. The Diddy party list dropped.
Are you going to be gone next week?
No, but let me tell you, there are definitely some expected people on there, and then there's some shockers that are on there. Supposedly. Can't confirm it yet, but Diddy and all these other people that may have been diddling around, whew, this is going to be a case, man. This is going to be a case. If all these people were involved, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. So sorry about that, man. It is a big thing in the news.
Hey, it's music news.
It is music news. And listen, man, I loved, Biggie Smalls and some of the people that came out of Bad Boy. But dude, if this list is what rumored to be, because I can't confirm what I saw is true, but if it is, good Lord have mercy. This motherfucker snitched on everybody. Everybody. Name anybody close to fucking Bad Boy in New York. They're gone. Fucking gone.
Yikes. We shall see.
Dude, let me if I find the video, I want to send it to you, but what you're going to need to do, it's going to come through TikTok. Listen, it's going to come through TikTok. It's one of my guys I kind of follow. I'm going to send this to you, but you're going to need to pause when he brings open the pages of all these people that are on this list.
Gotcha.
And I think you'll find it fucking interesting. I want to hear your thoughts as soon as you see it. Like as soon as I want to hear right after. Like I want you to give me your review like I do a fucking review right after.
Okay.
All right.
It'll come to you tomorrow.
All right. And that is the news.
That's right.
All right.
All right. So again, special thank you again to Tom Gigliotti from the Shout It Out Loudcast for being our guest last week. We had an awesome time.
Tom, we would love to have you back on. We do another Kiss debate or something like that, man. Maybe we'd entertain the idea if you'd like to come back on and hang out with us again. We'd love to do it.
Yep. Maybe try to get Zeus on next time too.
Oh,
those guys are great. So yeah, he gave us Jerry Cantrell's I Want Blood.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And so I'm going to ask you a question before we get started, good sir.
Yeah.
How much following of Alice in Chains have you been doing in recent years? And if not, what was the last album you were really digging on from Chains?
I have not been following Alice in Chains. I really dropped off after Lane Staley died. I would say the last album that I actually listened to was the one with No Excuses. And I think that's the Three-Legged Dog album.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. For me, grunge wasn't really my big thing. I liked a few albums from Soundgarden, maybe an album from Pearl Jam. Didn't really care for Nirvana. Smashing Pumpkins may fit that vibe, but I considered them more the masters of alternative, and I did like a lot of Pumpkin shit. But Alice in Chains was the top tier level of the grunge scene thing for me. Them and Soundgarden were. And I will tell you this. My favorite album is probably the one that I still jam to every once in a while to this day, and that's Alice in Chains' Dirt. Phenomenal album front to back. I wasn't as much a fan of Three-Legged Dog or maybe even Jar of Flies.
Maybe No Excuses on Jar of Flies. I really don't remember.
Right, because they came out, right around that time.
Yeah.
I think they were almost back to back or something. It was really weird when I looked that up. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember
Mhm.
I remember Jar of Flies being like the last album I listened to, and I goes, you know what? I've kind of outgrown this. I'm moving forward to whatever I was moving into at the time. It was probably about that time. It probably would have been punk. I was listening to a lot of punk at that time. So yeah, man. It's been a while. It's been a while for you and me and some Alice in Chains style stuff or
Yeah.
whatnot. And so
Yep.
I want to preface this review. Um, this definitely has some, I'm going to say DNA several times for several reasons. Um, this definitely has some Alice in Chains DNA in it. Guitar wise, DNA, this classic sounding guitar as far as what you would expect to hear in most Alice in Chains tunes.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing is, people often cite Lane Staley being the voice of Alice in Chains, but they forget how much that Jerry Cantrell had influence on that. So Jerry Cantrell in his own right is a phenomenal vocalist and stuff in his own vein as well. He has
Hmm.
his own style. If you hear Jerry Cantrell singing, or you know that you're going to associate that with something Alice in Chains or something related. And for a solo album, I did want to say this. There is a lot of Alice in Chains feel here, but you can also see where there were areas where he didn't stay in that pocket, which was kind of pleasant when you heard it. So, um, Bruce, any preface notes you want to throw down?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, I think this album. Again, I have not listened to any of Jerry's previous solo stuff, but from my opinion, is this album really shows that he was the heart and soul of Alice in Chains. Lane may have been considered the face, but Jerry Cantrell is the heart and soul of that band. Um, this absolutely fits within that Alice in Chains legacy.
Now, before we get started, I do want to say this. Oftentimes we find ourselves listening to an album from a band that's a little more advanced than the years that we were really checking them out. And we hear
Hmm.
this out and we hear this album, and it actually is a phenomenal album from the band. And we go, well, if this was that time frame, where would this album fit in that catalog? If I
Hmm.
were going to say that this was an Alice in Chains album, I would say that this would fit somewhere between Dirt and um Three-Legged Dog.
Hmm. No,
You know,
I
it,
definitely
it
think.
it feels like it's got a lot of that blend. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
No, I think this. I think if Alice in Chains was still like as Alice in Chains, uh, this would be what Lane and the boys would be doing at this time. You know, this.
It definitely feels that way. It definitely
Yep.
feels that way because we got to remember at the end of the day, this is still a representation of him being solo.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know who all was on board for this, and if any other members of Alice in Chains were on board for this. The only other thing I want to mention is many moons ago there was talk between or rumors between talks about Jerry Cantrell and Glenn Danzig doing like a blues album or something like that together. It's
Hmm.
never produced, man, and if by chance this ever makes it to their ears, man, I'd still be very interested to hear that as a Danzig and Jerry Cantrell fan.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, guitar DNA, a lot of Chains feel. Um, place the album between Dirt and Jar of Flies. Um, yeah, man, let's get into it, dude.
All right.
Track number one, man, and this I believe was a single, probably the lead single, Vilified. How'd
Yep.
you feel about that, man?
I gave this thing an absolute A plus. An amazing song. And again, I put in here proves that he was the heart and soul of Alice in Chains. Um, just a fantastic starter.
I gave this one an A. I said very Alice in Chains heavy, great. opener, great riff and harmonization. Felt like it was a familiar. It was like meeting an old friend again. You know what I mean? So I was pleasantly surprised on that one. So yeah, I definitely gave that one an A.
Yeah. Next up was Off the Rails. This was the second single. Um, what'd you think?
Um, I gave this one an A as well. There is a high pitched part of the guitar in this song that reminds me of a Shocker riff off the Shocker soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember exactly what, but I don't know why, but for some reason when I heard this high pitched riff on this tune, I was just like, "Whoa, that sounds very reminiscent of a riff that was similar on somewhere in the Shocker soundtrack." And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember which one. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it was an A. Man.
No, I agree with you. I gave it an A too. I put in here as a great riff. There's that breakdown in the middle that was absolutely amazing. Um, I put in here. I thought this may have been the least Alice in Chains like song on the album. However, Blabbermouth said the exact opposite of me. And Blabbermouth was like, "Oh yeah, this definitely is reminiscent of Alice in Chains." I'm like, ah.
I don't know. I'd have to agree with him there, man, because it didn't start getting until later into the album that I just didn't start feeling like there was some real pull away from the Alice in Chains sound.
Mm. Yeah, to me this wasn't as much Alice in Chains at all for me. But anyway, but I love the song. I gave it a solid A.
Yeah. Track number 3, Afterglow. How'd you feel about that one, man?
Again, it's such A plus, such a catchy chorus, and some beautiful guitar work on this thing. Um, that solo um, is just amazing. This is such a great song. This should have been a single as well. I can absolutely see this being played on radio. Um, and I don't think it ever was, but I love this song. A plus.
I gave this one an A as well. I said it was a good song, slightly different vibe. It felt more like a ballad.
Mm-hmm.
And you're correct. This song was going to get a B from me. Okay, this was going to be
Mm.
my first ding on the album because I kind of wasn't feeling it until the solo happened. And then when the solo happened, man, this whole thing just took a whole, all right, I'm in it now, man. Fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, the solo definitely, I even wrote down the solo saved this song for me. So I gave it an A.
Mm. Yeah. I really like how that solo really took it to a different level. It really brought the energy up. But having said that, I really like the whole song a lot. Um, so yeah, I guess next up is "I Want Blood."
The title track.
Yeah.
I gave this one an A. A little
Hmm.
more Southern rock feel I felt on this one. I didn't like the chorus for some reason on this, but I still gave it an A. The chorus wasn't so bad that I had to actually ding this thing. It didn't resonate well with me, but the song wasn't so bad that I felt the need to ding it and give it a B. So I gave
Mm,
it an A.
mm. I gave this thing an A plus. This song was very reminiscent of Velvet Revolver.
I can
Um, I,
understand that.
I also this kind of reminded me of one of those tracks from Sons of Silver.
Yeah, I can see that too. I can
Yep,
definitely see that too.
it's I mean, this thing is fantastic solo on here. It's a kick-ass bass, great driving beat. I really dug this song a lot. And again, this could have been a single too.
Yeah.
This was a fun fucking song.
I wouldn't disagree by any means. But there was something about the chorus that was just off for me. But
Okay.
it wasn't the but it just wasn't enough to ding it because the rest of the song would just held the fucking thing together, man. So I
Yep.
really did dig it. Track number 5, Echoes of Laughter. What'd you give that one?
I gave it an A plus. Again, I am so far. We're a little over halfway through this album, and I'm blown away about how much really like this album. This is such an amazing solo. It's a beautiful song, top to bottom. The bass really hits home here. I don't know who's playing the bass guitar on this, but God bless. Like where he sits in the mix is it's just perfect.
Yeah.
This is such a great song. Such a great song.
I gave this one an A plus as well.
Hmm.
I said it was slower paced tune, but my favorite track to this point. This was probably my favorite track on the whole album. I really,
Mm.
really, really, really dug this album. And if I had to say that there was a tune that really didn't feel as much like an Alice in Chains tune on this album, it was actually this tune.
I can see that.
So yeah,
I can see that.
I really dug that one, man. Track number 6, Throw Me a Line. What's your thoughts
Oh,
on that one?
well, man. Uh, I kept listening to this song, and I was like, man, this song reminds me of something. It reminds me of a Metallica song. And I was sitting here just stewing on it and stewing on it. And I messaged Tom. I'm like, dude, uh, throw me a line. It's a Metallica song. He's like, yeah, I kind of understand. And I'm like, dude, I can't figure it out. And you know, a couple minutes later, it it dung on me. I'm like, oh, my friend of misery. It's that do 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 do. Instead of going at it stayed in that. It is slightly different. Uh, I just really dug this song a lot. And also I love that My Friend of Misery song too. So I gave this a solid A.
I
Solid
actually
A.
I actually gave this one a B. Okay, this is the dinger on the album for me here. Great riff, but the song felt long to me for even somebody like me. That seems strange to say. You know what I'm saying?
I would.
It's strange. It's strange to say. Like it felt like it was to me. It felt like it was kind of grating on me.
Mm,
But I don't want to say that was a skippable track because it wasn't a skippable track. If you're listening to the album to this point, you might as well go ahead and rock this track through. For me, it just felt a little bit long. Great riff, and because of the way that it felt long to me, I started losing interest in it. That's why I ended up giving it a B. So
okay.
track
Well, I
number
can't.
7, Let It Lie.
Woo wee. A plus for me. Fantastic riff. Very heavy. Very haunting. That riff and guitar tone was very reminiscent of It Never Goes Away by Kiss on the Carnival of Souls album.
Right.
I mean, it was like, wow, that guitar tone in his solo was like, shit, that sounds just like Bruce's tone on that, which is kind of funny because, I think they were actively trying to sound like Alice in Chains back in '95 when they recorded that album. So I just thought it was fun and nice little nice little segue or whatever the fuck you call it there. So
Good
uh,
deal.
yep, very Kiss like.
I gave this one an A as well.
Mm-hmm.
I said I wasn't feeling this track until the halfway point, and the solo saved this one as well. Just it's kind of like that one where it's the first half of the song really just wasn't really resonating with me, but the
Mm.
minute hits that halfway point and that solo kicks in, it just fucking it speaks a whole nother language. Like you had to get through this all right stuff to get to this rocking stuff, and not that the stuff was just all right. It's just it wasn't resonating as well. And then when you hear the rest of the song, it obviously does its thing and resonates as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Wow.
what you have
Uh,
on that?
A plus.
Okay.
A plus.
All
Uh,
right.
what is that? Hold your tongue.
No, held your tongue. Held your tongue.
Held?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to work on writing there, I guess. What'd you give it?
I gave this one an A as well. Another solid track. This is a standout for sure. I didn't give it an A plus, but to me, it was more of a standout track on the album, in my opinion. And I thought that was really nice, especially coming up to the end of the album. What'd you give it?
I gave it an A plus. Again, I mean, I love this the start of it where it's a cappella, and then just a driving kick-ass bass and guitar riff.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, this is it's damn near a perfect song. It's got everything you want in it. It's so good. I mean, I'm eight tracks in. I am completely blown away by this album. Completely blown away.
My sentiments would ring the same. I was pleasantly surprised to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And we, of course, come to the closer
Yeah,
because It Comes is the title of that. It
that's
Comes.
it comes.
Yep.
The end comes for us all, I guess. So, and here we're at the end of this album. What'd you give it?
I gave this one an A as well, man. A great closer, very mellow vibe, rocks out halfway, um, brings it back down to mellow, man. And this was a solid track and a hell of a closer. It rounded everything off. I also want to mention back on Off the Rails, there was a really nice guitar solo in there. I think you did discuss that. That thing was pretty fucking wicked too. I wrote that off to the side and I didn't say anything about it. But
Mm.
yeah, man, track number 9, great closer. I mean, looking at this album as a whole, to me personally, it felt like shaking hands with an old friend.
Mm-hmm.
What was your thoughts on number 9?
I gave it an A plus. It's a very slow song, which is typically not what I look for in a closer. I want fast and upbeat and just energy. This is not it. This is it's a plodding, it's slow song, uh, but it makes perfect sense with the tone of this album. This is not a happy-go-lucky album. It's not a doom and gloom, but it's a moody album. And I think that this song really sums that up. It's just a very melancholy, very, you know, just not sentimental, but just a very emotional uh, album and emotional song. It's beautiful, makes perfect sense why this is a closer. A plus for me, man.
Cool. So we now are at the point that we've listened to this thing. We've given it
Mm-hmm.
our review of each song. Now it's time to give this thing an actual review. Bruce, where are you standing on Jerry Cantrell? I Want the Blood.
The only ding I can give on this album is the cover. The cover is just kind of Uh, but this is
We don't
just
ding for covers. We're talking
I
about
know.
song content here.
Thank God you just let me finish a thought. I appreciate it.
Better settle down, sir.
Anyway, I this is a 10. This is just a great album. You don't have to listen to you don't have to listen to the whole thing. But you should. There's so many great songs on this. There's nothing that let me down on this. Uh just I've been jamming to this thing all week pretty consistently. Pretty consistently. I was so impressed with this album.
This will find a place in my Alice in Chains rotation when I'm sitting
Mm-hmm.
around listening to Alice in Chains.
Yep.
I will say this. Super pleasantly surprised by this album. Want to thank Tom Gigliotti of Shout Out Loudcast for this album. Great, great send over to us, man. Really do appreciate it. If by chance you got to check out the albums that Bruce and I gave you, throw a comment down below and let us know what you thought of those. We'd love to hear that. But thank you so much for a wonderful album. And my sentiments ring pretty close to Bruce's. I did give this thing a B. It did land an A plus, but it was only one A plus on here. So at the end of the day, I can't ding this thing too much, but I am going to ding it. I'm going to give it a 9.75.
What's that? Just the
So this was a banger of an album. This would find its way into my rotation of Alice in Chains stuff whenever I'm jamming some Alice in Chains stuff. Wonderful, wonderful
yeah.
album. Before we close out the show this evening, I got a few things I want to mention here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We will not be giving each other an album because we
Mm-hmm.
actually have some listeners out there that decided to give us an album each. So we're going to go ahead and review your albums. Bruce, do you want to tell us what those albums are?
Yeah, absolutely. So, big thank you and shout out to Sonny Pooney from two podcasts. He's got the Grown Up Rock and Podcast Rock City podcasts. Find those guys on YouTube and Spotify and everywhere else. Sonny reached out and he wanted us to review Richie Kotzen's acoustic cuts. Um, and he did say, make sure that you are not in a bad mood when you listen to this. So sounds like my kind of jam right there.
Richie Kotzen acoustic
And
cuts.
then we also, yep, Richie Kotzen acoustic cuts, and Dakota Sevi reached out to us through Facebook, and he wanted us to review Sleep Tokens, "Take Me Back to Eden." That
Sleep
was their
Tokens
album.
Take Me Back to Eden.
Yep, and I believe that was released in 2017, so pretty recent, maybe their most recent release. So, um, thank you, gentlemen, for both of those. Stay tuned next week as we review those two interesting albums. Hopefully interesting.
Yeah. And the only other thing I'd like to mention before we go log off the air tonight, man, please remember it is concert season. Enjoy yourself. Be safe at festivals. Be safe at shows. Keep an eye on your drink. Take care of your bartenders. And please keep in mind you can catch us on all your podcast streaming services. You not only have to watch us here at YouTube, but you can catch us everywhere else. Want to thank everybody that has made these 101 episodes a wonderful time and a learning experience that we continue to grow from. We thank
Mm-hmm.
Tom Gigliotti. We thank Zeus from the Shout It Out Loudcast. We thank our friends over at Sons of Silver, Emmy Sunshine, John Davis of Conan, um, so many. I mean, Keith Roth from the
Yep.
Dictators, our friends of the Dictators. Wes Beach, very close friend of the show. He stays in touch with Bruce all the time. We thank every one of you for so much that you've given to us and just hanging out with us and having a conversation. I hate calling it an interview. I absolutely despise calling it an interview. I love just sitting down and having a conversation. And I think Bruce is in agreement with me on that. The only
Yep.
other thing I'd like to mention is, get out to your local record store. If you're down in Tennessee, you've got Lost and Found, you got Basement Records. Over here in Columbus, you got Used Kids, you got Magnolia Thunder Pussy. You got plenty of venues to go see shows at in both areas. Be sure to check out your local venue and what shows are coming up this year. Get out and catch a show, be around some people, have a beer, have a good time. It's that time of season. We'll be wrapping up our show season here very soon, and we'll be discussing a big Kiss debate between our usual panel that we have on, and we're looking forward to that. We also have India
Absolutely.
Ramey coming up as our last interview for this
Mm-hmm.
season. So we hope to bring you many, many more interviews next season. We've made some pretty good connections and very good friends, and we're very blessed to have done so, and we're very blessed to have every one of you that sit, listen, and watch, share, like, comment, subscribe. We love every one of you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for an hour of your time a week, if you do, if you're a usual listener. Thank you so fucking much. Bruce, you got anything to say on that?
How to top that? I
Uh,
can't top that at all. So, uh, thanks everyone.
just thank you, everyone. Other than that, man, Bruce, I can't give you an album tonight. Somebody hooked us up. I'm looking
That's
forward
right.
to that, man.
Again, check out Sonny Pooney from the Growing Up Rock and Podcast Rock City podcast. And thank you, Dakota, for giving us that album too. And stay tuned next week.
All right, till next week, guys. I'm Tone.
Now, Bruce.
We're hooked on Sonics. We'll see you.
See ya.